Welcome back to the Lila podcast. I'm your host, Alexa Joe, or JoJo, depends on who you ask. And I am here with my lovely friend, Kelly. And I'm so honored to have you on today. I'm so glad that you agreed to be on this podcast because I just think that you're one of the people from the start that when we were talking on your lanai, I was just thinking, this is exactly the kind of person I want for my podcast. So this has been a dream for a long time, and it just feels really wonderful to be able to finally have you on.
Awesome. I'm so excited, and I'm so excited you're pursuing your dreams.
Thank you. And you're such an inspiration to me and to a lot of people, and I'm really excited to share your story, or at least be a platform for you to share it, because really you're an incredible person, and I don't know if people tell you that enough, but I hope that they do. So
They do. Thank you.
I just want to start by saying who you are and what you do, and also we're coming to you from the Big Island of Hawaii, which is how I met Kelly. And yeah, so if you want to just say a couple things.
Sure. We're here in Kailua Kona, which is my hometown. I absolutely love Hawaii, especially Kona, and I've been here for 26 years, and it's definitely been very rewarding life experience living here.
26 years. Have you been on Kona side the whole time?
Yep, the whole time.
Yeah, well, it's paradise. Hard to leave.
That's for sure.
And where, you're not originally from Hawaii. Where did you grow up?
I grew up on Long Island in Bayshore, New York.
Okay. And then how'd you end up here?
I'm a ovarian cancer survivor, and after I battled cancer, I thought, why do people wait till they retire to live where they want to live? And I had come here to help heal early on, and I decided I'm definitely going to move there. What the attraction was at the time was a whole new world opens up when you go in the ocean and go snorkeling, especially South Kona at Two-Step.
So true.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and I was just like, I have to live here and live this life.
You really have made a life for yourself here in grand ways. I don't know if you would say this because you're very humble, but you are like one of the most known realtors on the island. You are a part of a really top-notch company, and you do really well. And Kelly is an award winner, and recent award winner too, and I want to give you that extra praise because I also think maybe you would say, oh, I'm a realtor, but you wouldn't say
right. Thank you.
Just how hard you've worked, and you do even more on the island, which we'll get into a bit, because a bit of your story will kind of build up to why you have these different properties and everything. But a little bit about our connection before we get into a little bit. I came to the Big Island and was living here, and Kelly is a friend of the people I was living with who have also been on the podcast, Maria and Shahir. And I was doing some work for Maria, and she was like, I think you would really connect with my friend Kelly. And so we met up, and I was really lucky to land a deal where I was able to rent a convertible from you, which was so much fun. And then we just, connected and became friends and have got together for various things. But it's a joy to do because you take care of so many other people, and it's nice to be able to do something nice for you that'll make your life a little bit easier. So
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, you've inspired me from our first meeting, and I just think that you're so courageous and that you're out exploring the world and not going by social norms and spending time with other people, getting to know people. And it was just so nice how we automatically became connected and just talked about big deal life stuff.
Yeah.
Which you don't come across too many people you get to do that with. And I loved that we were both so open and honest with each other. And you have also been number one organizer in my life, pulling my world together because I'm just in a million directions every day. And it's just so nice to trust you and just know you just whip everything into shape and organize my life, which I don't know anyone else who's ever been able to do that for me. So thank you.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to do it. And yeah, like you said, we really connected. And back, a year and a half ago when I was living here, we were able to have a conversation. You really opened up about your life and some things that you've been through. You've blessed us with being willing to share it all. And so I'd really like to just talk about how you got here, because you have a lot. You've built a really big, beautiful life for yourself and full life, but you really started from the ground. So your younger years, I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you spent some time without a home.
Yeah, I've always had parents. My parents been divorced my whole life, but I was sort of a juvenile delinquent, badass younger years, which
Badass,
badass.
Kelly.
And I was a runaway, frequent runaway, and I had to get put in foster care for a short time within family members and also a juvenile hall detention center. So from that, I've never been homeless, but I've definitely been in a position my parents didn't want me in our home anymore due to my
Right.
behaviors. And my drug use and alcoholism brought me to places I never thought I'd experience. And I really lost all concept of caring about myself and loving myself, where how I lived my life really didn't matter. So I'm very fortunate that I was able to turn around at a very young age. That process began at 16, and at 19, I was definitely full on a road of recovery at that point. And from that, I've just been able to meet so many people along the way to help direct my life and mentor me, and sponsorship and therapy, that I've been able to meet my full potential. I remember early on, I went to a therapist and she'd be like, you box yourself in with a set of people. Like, you need to have a full file cabinet and different kind of friends and different life experiences to live a full life that you deserve to live. And at the time I thought, like, no, you don't understand. And today I totally see the big picture of that. And I'm grateful that I've had the right mentors in place over the years.
And you started all of that recovery at 16, or that's when it started to kind of go downhill and you were in recovery by 19?
That's when I was hitting a bottom at 16, and I was introduced to recovery and was definitely not ready for it. So from 16 to 19, I skated in and out of recovery and not really grasping it. Just would get the heat off a little. And by the time I was 19, I had just turned 19, and I was totally done that lifestyle, and I had to focus completely on recovery at that point in time. And that built a strong foundation that I still live by today.
That's a really hard age to be focusing on recovery and staying away from alcohol and other substances, because that's an age when a lot of people are getting into them. And so to have that, were you surrounded by other people your age around that time, or was that a big time when you kind of had some older people in your corner mostly?
Mostly older people. At that point, the recovery community that I was part of did not have many people my age at all. In fact, I remember within the first 2 years, there had been people 5 to 7 years older than me, and I was so excited to see someone closer to my age. And I became pretty good friends with those people. 3 specifically I'm still friends with today, and we still carry on a relationship. So it was rare back in the mid to late 80s to get in recovery so young.
Yeah, for sure. And how did you get to that point where you landed in recovery and did turn things around? Because, you know, a lot of people never do. And I'm just curious how you found your way to that.
Well, I was introduced at 16 and was in and out, so I was becoming well aware of recovery as an option for life. And then I had lost several people in my life, and I knew where my path was taking me. And I had never been in legal trouble, and I had never been to jail or anything of that nature. And I knew those things, those yets were going to happen if I didn't change my path quickly. So things occurred that scared me straight, basically. And I knew I could not stay sober on my own, being I had tried doing that many times and it didn't work for me. So I had to get focused on a recovery program.
And then, you know, getting sober and recovery is only part of it. Then you have to build a life again. And figure out what you want it to look like. And so what, after kind of getting to that point, you're 19, 20, did you start working or going to school, or where were you at?
Yeah, I was working full time at a Long Island developmental center with mentally and physically challenged adults, which was a really challenging job. And within that, a mentor recommended you have to go back. You have to start college. And I'm like, oh, I'm not college material. And she said, well, take one class at a time. So I actually went to night school for college for about 7 years to graduate with my associate's degree. And I accomplished that, which was a big deal. And in the midst of that, I got sick, and that created a new direction, a new path in my life as well.
Yeah. And how old were you when you got sick?
I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer stage 3 at 25 and was given 3 to 6 months to live.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't remember you were given 3 to 6 months to live.
Yeah.
That had to have been just the ultimate drop in the stomach.
It was shocking. And now that I look back, like 25 is so young. Like
I'm going to be 25 this year.
Yeah. So quarter century.
Yeah.
And it's so young. Like, so much. Like before that, I thought I knew everything. And then when that happened, I realized how small I really was and how, significant and insignificant I am in the world. And, it just really, I just felt freedom from it in some ways, and like, okay, like I'm either going to still be here or not. So it's time to really start living my life completely and going in the directions I wanted to go. Not that I gave much thought of that before I just kind of just did what are the normal things to do, go to work full time and go to school, anything people suggested. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to become a dream chaser. And I just was like, okay, I want to move to Hawaii one day. I want to do this one day. And I just started making bucket lists and accomplishing the things on my bucket list.
And that was after your diagnosis?
After my diagnosis, I had surgery, and then I went through treatment of chemotherapy, and I did that for about 6 months, was given a clean bill of health in about 7 months. And then at that point, I was like, okay, I have to complete my education and get that associate's degree. And then I worked like 3 jobs to save money to move to Hawaii. And I came here with $10,000 and 2 suitcases, and I was ready.
And a dream.
And a dream.
I mean, you were given 3 to 6 months to live, and you kicked it in 7 months.
Yes.
That's incredible. So you didn't take that as an end all be all.
Not at all. Not at all. I was like, okay, if I'm going to live through this, I'm going to live through this. And I had so much love and support. Like, so many people were surrounded by me. And I would think before that, oh, people care about me. But that was the first time in my life, like, I could truly feel love from people. And the closest people to me, some of them kind of vanished a little bit, and people who were in the peripheral just showed up. Like, I couldn't believe, like, they'd fill my freezer with food. My boyfriend at the time and my dad took me to every doctor's appointment. Like, I was never alone that entire time. So just the love and friendship and family and support I felt was just unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long after that did you move to Hawaii?
So it took that was 96, 2 years. I would say it took a year and a half to save up that $10,000 and get my associate's degree and get everything in order to move here.
Okay. Yeah.
So I moved here in January 1998 when there was not any jobs or anything. I had to become a AmeriCorps volunteer for $300 a month. And it was crazy. And I would babysit. Did
they give you housing?
No, you had to pay for housing, and the rent was $650, and my stipend was $300 a month. So it was kind of crazy.
How did you do that? The numbers just don't add up.
Nothing added up, and I went into debt the first couple of years. However, I worked like multiple jobs. I babysat. I worked as an advocate at the domestic abuse shelter on the weekends, and anyone who offered me small work, mac nut picking, coffee picking, housekeeping, like cleaning an Airbnb for the night. I would just do whatever little things I could, and
It sounds like me.
yes. So I just like would get whatever money I could and try to make it work here. And amazingly, you know, for the first 3 to 5 years, there was definitely some real struggles. And I just knew I wanted to be here, and it was worth the struggles to get to the other side.
Yeah. And why did you choose Big Island?
At the time, I had family here.
Okay.
So my aunt and uncle lived here in Holualoa since they're no longer here. But that was my home base. And once I got here, I didn't even think of like moving again. This was such a foreign land and such a big move. So I just was like, I'm going to make this work.
Yeah. And it takes everything that you have to get here. I mean, if you can't afford to be here, you also maybe can't afford to get off. That's a hard
true.
thing for people too.
That is true.
But it really is an amazing place, and so you never left. I mean, of course, you've gone on trips and stuff, but
Right.
as far as living, you've just been here since.
I've been here since January 1998. So yeah, I've never lived anywhere else except in West Hawaii.
And you've watched it just
Grow.
become what it is.
Yes, it's changed so drastically. There's so many more people here now, shopping centers, street lights, traffic, parking issues,
Yeah.
community issues. Back then for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo was $650, which was very expensive for me being a AmeriCorps volunteer. That same place today rents for $3,200 a month. So that's just insane, the rising costs and the cost of living. So it's really a struggle to make it here for many people.
And you came by yourself, yeah? Because
Yes.
I know you said that when you were sick, you had a partner.
Yes. I had a boyfriend in New York, and then we broke up for me to move here because he thought it was too big of a dream. And after being here for
You'll never let someone tell you that.
No. After being here for a year, he decided to move over, and he was here for a couple of years. We were together. He was here for about 10 years. We were together for the first 2 of that.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. And then we went separate ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you were married, too.
Yes, I got married here, and we were together for about 10 years, and just life circumstances made our marriage fail miserably. We were fortunate to have foster children. So that
Oh, that's
being
right.
a survivor of cancer and not being able to have my own children, it was a strong desire of mine to be a foster parent. So I was able to have that experience and help raise several foster children while they were in high school. So that was great. In fact, I'm still in relationships with all of them today. I am going to Ireland to visit my daughter. She just bought a house there, and we're taking a cruise to Italy. So that will be really fun. I leave next week.
I'm so excited for you. I'm so happy that you're going to go on a vacation
Yes.
and go see your daughter.
Yes.
That's so special. And these kids that you fostered, was there 3 of them?
3 main ones. I did some emergency foster care, but I had 3. I had a boy for 2 years, another girl for 2 years, and then the third one I had for about 18 months.
Wow.
So, and they were all in high school and were ready to go independent and be out on their own. So they just needed some care. And it was a perfect fit for me because I was always afraid to have younger children that I'd get too attached. But when you know they're going to be independent, you want them to have their freedom to go live their lives.
That's a really interesting perspective because I am really curious about foster care and being a foster parent because it has to be hard on both ends when you know that it's temporary in a way. And I know that sometimes younger kids, when they've gone to a few different ones, they can really struggle with creating those attachments. And so by the time they're a teenager, I would just imagine that it might be difficult.
It is very difficult. And That's why I wanted to specialize in high school youth, because there a lot of families really don't want to take in someone from high school, and also they really need to finish high school to move forward with their lives. So it was a good age group for me, and giving them, I always would say, I'll treat you as if you're my own when you come until you give me reason not to. And that always went very smoothly. I didn't have a lot of challenges with them, which to me is amazing because several of them had challenges in other homes.
Yeah. But some of that is chemistry and also your approach. You know, they may have had challenges in other homes for a variety of reasons, but I strongly believe that you created a safe place to be. And, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean that someone will feel safe just because of their own experiences, but your kind heart shows through. And I just think it's really special that you did that and that you have those children of yours. And I know that you're a special person to them too.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I feel very fortunate, as do they. So I'm blessed to have them in my life today.
Yeah. And they all left the island?
2 of the 3 did. There's one who's still here, so I usually see him at least once a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. Kind of moving more into your career. When did you actually become a realtor?
January 2004. So my AmeriCorps money gave me college money to go and get my bachelor's degree. And at that point in time, I graduated in December 03 with my bachelor's degree. And the person I was marrying, who I married in 03, said, oh, you have to become a realtor. You know, being in the nonprofit world is you're always going to be poor. And I'm like, I was not sure I wanted to change careers. I do have family members who were realtors. My favorite aunt has always been my mentor, and she was actually my foster mom. And she really encouraged me to try real estate out. So between the two of them, I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try for a year. I felt like a deer in the headlights. And then, you know, it just ignited a fire in me to passion of loving to find people their homes and hoping that, you know, they're able to find the right home and find a dream. You know, owning home is really dreams.
Yeah.
Right? Home ownership, because it's been such a struggle once again for home ownership. So,
yeah. And for a lot of people, you help them find home in Hawaii, which is also a dream that you had.
yes,
And so you're able to help people fulfill that same dream that you had,
exactly. That's
which
so
is
true.
really special.
It is. It is.
And not to mention, you totally kick ass at it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've gotten good. You know, it's amazing what experience and practice, a lot of practice. You know, it's funny. I tell people who I mentor the first year, 10% of what you do will work out, and every year it will improve. So it's 20 years now. So I've gotten pretty good at it.
Yeah. And a lot of dedication. I mean, you're a really busy woman, and that's because you don't only do real estate. You're also involved in some other ways. One of them I know is Seroptimist.
Yes.
And do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, so Seroptimist is best for women and girls, and I've been a Seroptimist member for about 19 years, and it's a great way to give back to the community. One of my favorite programs we do is Live Your Dream Award, which is for returning adult head of household women to return to school, and we help give them a stipend to do that. So that's been so rewarding, watching those women, you know, really return to believing in their dreams again. And that's, you know, what's so important. So that's one of the reasons why I love Seroptimist, as well as the friendships I've created over the years have been amazing. That's how I met Maria initially, actually.
Really? I didn't know
Yes.
that's how you guys met.
Yes, that's how we became good friends. We were
Okay.
both in real estate.
That's how I thought that you guys met. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So-
Yeah. And you also, I believe, are a sponsor for
Yeah,
other
I
people in recovery.
sponsor women in recovery, and I also mentor some business people. So I just really believe in giving back and supporting others is so important.
And you still find time to go on hikes with your dog Rhodey.
Yes, that's to me, it's just so important to really release and take care of yourself. And that's a way for self care. And Rhodey needs to be hiked. So it's fun.
Yeah. But I really appreciate that too, because you are so busy, but I feel like you do also do some things that are for you. And maybe it could be more, but and I don't know that, but I think it can be really put on the back burner. Oftentimes it's so easy when you're involved in so many things, and for you, you're involved in a lot of emotionally taxing things. Like, you care so much and you're helping all these people in different ways. I mean, being a part of this organization, plus your full-time job, plus you have, people that you love, your personal relationships, plus mentoring and sponsoring and all of these things, that it's so important to still take those moments for yourself.
It is. The older I get, the more I realize how important that is. So I'm really fortunate that I have friendships that help nurture that and self-care. And we live in a place where it's so easy to go out and enjoy yourself. So it doesn't take effort.
It really is.
Yes.
And you're actually going to be moving, and something that you had shared with me last time I was here, that you had a goal, I think it was to own 5 homes by the time you turn 50. And is this your 5th home?
It will be my 5th home, and I will be 50. I'm 54, so I'm almost 55, so I didn't quite reach my goal, but that I'm even in line with my goals is pretty amazing, especially everything that has happened in the economy over the last few years.
Yeah, and especially you also do a couple of special things with your properties. I know there's one that's home
sober living for men. Yes. So I have a legacy home for my dad, who passed away with 25 years sober. And he really wanted to continue his legacy by helping others and wanted me to do my best to keep that going. So I'm so fortunate. It's been 7 years. It's been a bumpy road sometimes, but my goal is still to keep that going. And it's been with great success. The lady who supports and assists me through that ran into one of the folks who left about 2 years ago, and he's still doing great in life and shared how he's a new dad and is a manager at his job, and just really fortunate for the start being at that home gave him. So those are the rewarding moments. There's times that, people relapse or, life situations happen, but it's really rewarding to see people move towards success.
So you're giving back in even more ways.
Yes, yes.
And I'm just so taken back by all the ways that you find to give back to other people. And the thing is that you are an important and special person to a lot of people. And I just think that's something to be celebrated.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I so appreciate that. It's really important to give to others and really help people believe in themselves and that their dreams are possible and they're worth it. They're worth chasing what they want to chase. And we all chase different things, Some days I think, what was your thoughts about owning these homes and taking care of them?
Yeah, but you've got to take care of them too.
Right. I'm like, oh my goodness. But it's at this point with housing such an issue, I feel really grateful that I'm able to supply rentals to some people, and they never leave some of my rental properties because it's a good place to live. But I feel blessed that I'm able to provide that for people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And just kind of closing out, I am just curious to know what is on your radar in the future. What are you excited about this year? Because at the time of recording, this is the beginning of the new year.
Yeah, I'm excited to be moving downtown. That's been my dream for a long time. I've lived up Malca for over 20 years, so it'll be so exciting to live downtown and easily dip into the ocean and walk, Alihi Drive. And I'm also excited to travel. I'm going to Europe next week, so I can't wait for that. And and just see what else comes. I have a busy year of work planned, a lot of goals for work, a lot of goals for my team. So I just want to enjoy life and keep going at the pace I've been going, maybe slow down a little to enjoy it a little more.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited for you and to see what this year brings. I'm really happy that you're going to go take some time, go to Italy, are you going to anywhere else?
Ireland.
Or Ireland?
Yep. Ireland. Yep. So
Okay.
Ireland and then a cruise to Italy. So I've never been to Italy. I've just been to Ireland for about a week 2 years ago. So it'll be very exciting to see some of Europe.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today and to be on this podcast.
You're welcome. Congratulations on your podcast. I'm so excited for this chapter for you.
Thank you.